What happens when a powerful witch makes a fatal mistake? Let's journey to a verdant valley cradled between majestic mountains where a woman of immense power and unwavering compassion lived. Her name was Elara, not just a woman, but a witch held in high esteem by the villagers. Elara's life was a beautiful blend of the ordinary and the extraordinary. Her mornings were spent in her flourishing garden, where she nurtured life with a tender touch and a murmured spell. And as the sun climbed the sky, villagers would find their way to her, carrying their burdens of illness, stress, and dreams. Elara, with her steady hand and sharp intuition, would tend to them all, healing the ill, casting a protective spell over their homes, guiding a young protege in the art of magic. Elara was a beacon of hope and reassurance. Her kindness and selflessness earned her the deep admiration of her community, who revered her for the power she wielded. But as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. The world Elara knew and loved would soon shatter, all due to one unfortunate error. On a day much like any other, Elara was entrusted with a complex and delicate spell. The ritual demanded the stars' precise alignment, just the right blend of rare ingredients, and an unwavering concentration. Elara, with her honed skills, had performed such spells numerous times, but on this day something was different. Maybe a stray thought distracted her, a bird's wing fluttered, or her hand trembled just slightly. The exact reason remains unclear to Elara. Yet, the result was catastrophic. As the spell neared its peak, energy pulsed through the air, making Elara's bones tremble. She watched, horror-struck, as the meticulously spun magic threads unraveled, spiraling out of control. A deafening crack echoed through the valley, akin to the sound of 1,000 ancient books being torn apart. Then, silence. The world seemed to hold its breath, suspended in a moment of dreadful anticipation. Rooted to the spot, Elara's heart pounded in her ears. The air around her crackled with an unseen force, a tangible darkness that seemed to seep into her very soul. In that moment, she knew that something terrible had been unleashed, a force that would plague her for the rest of her days. But Elara's world would soon come crashing down, all because of a single, fateful mistake. It was on a day like any other, when Elara had been tasked with the casting of a complex and delicate spell. The spell was a symphony of celestial alignment and earthly elements, a dance of the ethereal and the tangible. Each component was as vital as the next, a delicate balance that demanded the utmost precision and unwavering focus. Elara was no stranger to such spells, her skills sharpened by years of practice and honed to a fine point. The ritual started under the watchful gaze of the stars, their twinkling light a celestial map guiding her actions. The ingredients for the spell, rare and potent, were blended with care, their unique energies intertwining to create a potent brew. Her mind, the final ingredient, was a fortress of concentration, each thought focused solely on the task at hand. But on this day, something went awry. Perhaps it was a fleeting distraction, the innocent rustle of leaves in the wind, or a tremor so slight it was barely perceptible. The exact cause would forever remain a mystery, lost in the chaos that followed. As the spell reached its crescendo, a wave of energy surged forth, the very air around Elara vibrating with its intensity. She could only watch in silent horror as the intricate web of magic she had woven began to unravel, spiraling out of control like a rogue whirlwind. The earth beneath her shuddered, a deafening crack reverberating through the valley. echoing the sound of 1,000 ancient Tommys torn apart. The world stood still. The silence that followed it was heavy with dread and anticipation. Elara, rooted to the spot, felt her heartbeat drumming in her ears. The air around her crackled with an unseen force, a tangible darkness seeping into her very being. The once harmonious symphony of the spell had transformed into a discordant cacophony. Something monstrous bursted from her mistake. She knew in that instant that something terrible had been unleashed, a force that would haunt her for the rest of her days. The world as she knew it had shifted on its axis, setting her on a path of sorrow and despair. The mistake, minute as it was, had brought forth a darkness that would forever cast a shadow over her life. As the realization dawned, Elara's world was plunged into a living nightmare. The once vibrant and thriving world around her began to crumble, almost as if mirroring the turmoil within her. Her once lush, verdant crops that used to sway gently in the breeze now withered and died, turning from a vibrant green to a lifeless brown. They crumbled to ash under her touch, the soil beneath as barren as a desert. Her livestock, once brimming with life, fell sick one after the other. Their once robust forms grew frail and weak, their eyes losing the spark of life. Their agonized cries echoed through the once peaceful valley, a haunting reminder of the life that once thrived there. It was as if a ruthless, unseen force was slowly draining the life from everything she held dear. But the relentless shadow of misfortune didn't stop with her crops and livestock. It seeped into her personal life, tainting her relationships with a touch as cold as ice. The people she had once held close, the ones who had revered and respected her, now shied away in fear and suspicion. Their warm smiles replaced with weary glances as they withdrew, leaving Elara more alone than she had ever been. Her once bustling home, filled with the laughter and chatter of her loved ones, now stood silent and empty, a grim testament to the havoc the curse had wreaked. It was as if she was trapped in a twisted, unending nightmare, one that she couldn't wake up from. Every day, Elara woke up to her world unraveling a little more. She poured every ounce of her energy into fighting the curse, her hands shaking and her voice hoarse from incantations. But it was like trying to hold back the tide with her bare hands. The more she struggled, the tighter the curse's grip became. It was as if the very elements themselves had turned against her, conspiring to bring about her downfall. With every passing day, the toll of her struggle was etched deeper into her, the vibrant witch of the valley slowly fading into a mere shadow of her former self. The once respected witch Elara was now caught in the relentless grip of her own unraveling. Day by day, the burden grew heavier, weighing down on Elara's once vibrant spirit. Elara's every waking moment was consumed by her relentless pursuit to reverse the curse that had befallen her. She threw herself into her research, poring over ancient texts and forgotten spells in an attempt to find a solution. She worked tirelessly, her hands stained with ink and her face etched with exhaustion. However, her efforts seemed futile. Each failed attempt only served to amplify her despair, the relentless cycle of hope and disappointment slowly eating away at her resolve. Her once robust health began to deteriorate. Her skin, once radiant, turned pale and ashen, her cheeks hollowing out from lack of sleep and nourishment. Her once lustrous hair grew thin and brittle, falling out in clumps. Her once strong and steady hands now trembled, weakened by the constant strain. Emotionally, Elara was a shadow of her former self. She was racked with guilt and self blame, consumed by the notion that she had brought this nightmare upon herself and those she cared for. She was haunted by the faces of her villagers, their expressions of fear and mistrust, cutting her deeper than any physical wound ever could. The villagers, once so trusting and reliant on Elara, began to withdraw from her. Fearful whispers echoed through the village, rumors of Elara's cursed state spreading like wildfire. Doors were shut in her face, eyes averted as she passed by. Mothers pulled their children closer, their eyes wide with fear, as they watched the once revered witch struggle with her own personal demons. Elara could hardly blame them. She herself was terrified of the force she had unleashed, the dark energy that seemed to grow stronger with each passing day. She was a pariah in her own home, isolated and ostracized by those she had once served with love and devotion. Her spirit, once so full of life and vigor, seemed to flicker and wane, mirroring the dying light of hope within her. Her heart ached with the knowledge that she was alone, a solitary figure in a world that had turned its back on her. Her eyes, once alight with the spark of life, grew dull and haunted, mirroring the darkness that had consumed her. The powerful witch's downfall was a tale that echoed through the valley for generations to come. Elara, once a beacon of hope and reassurance, became a symbol of caution, her story a chilling reminder of the precarious balance between power and responsibility. Her tale unfolded like a tapestry woven from threads of magic and regret. The morning she spent tending her garden, the villagers who sought her wisdom, the spells she cast with a steady hand and a keen intuition, all of these became fragments of a life that was a testament to the woman she had once been. The fateful day of the spell, gone awry, marked a stark turning point, a moment forever etched in the annals of the valley's history. It was a reminder that even the most skilled hands can falter and the most focused minds can waver. The precision required in the practice of magic is a testament to its potency, and a single misstep, a fleeting distraction, can have devastating consequences. Elara's downfall was not immediate, but a slow, relentless unraveling. Her once thriving crops withered, her livestock perished, and her relationships crumbled. The curse that had been inadvertently unleashed was a relentless shadow, a living nightmare that haunted her every step. Despite her best efforts, Elara could not reverse the damage. The curse's grip only tightened. The elements themselves seemed to conspire against her, and her vibrant spirit was weighed down by the heavy burden of her mistake. And so, the lessons from Elara's tale are manifold. They remind us of the importance of precision and focus, particularly when handling powerful forces. They teach us that even a single mistake can have far-reaching consequences, and that no one, not even the most powerful among us, is immune to the repercussions of their actions. Elara's story is a testament to the fact that power, in any form, comes with a hefty responsibility. It serves as a caution against complacency and a reminder of the potential devastation that can arise from a single moment of distraction or miscalculation. And so, Elara's tale serves as a stark reminder. Even the most powerful among us are not immune to the consequences of our actions.